Westbound.
Hi guys, today we're
behind
watching Houston Police
interchange
Chase
signs
January
going around
16th,
a
2013, 4
18-wheeler
p.m.
there as
update.
we
So my
approach
channel is
Lockwood.
growing now. As you can see, it's growing
And this driver is keeping
now.
right on his way.
This is
And we have seen a lot of
someone
officers
else's YouTube
either
channel. So today we're gonna get to it now. Let's get to it now.
waiting to see if this person's going to turn
So
off.
yeah, let's get to it now.
3 different sets of spike strips.
So they've thrown out three
different
sets of spike strips.
Exit that we just passed right there as he continues.
They just passed
westbound.
the Hirsch Road exit.
We're approaching Hirsch right now.
They're approaching Hirsch.
And you can see they're
right now. They're coming in a little closer.
We're almost to the 59
They're almost to the 59
East
Texas.
At that Hirsch exit.
At that first,
with officers behind him.
At
He's
the
going to go ahead and
Hirsch
stay on the loop
exit.
there as he continues being pursued by officers. And in these nice wide shots, you can really get a sense of just how big this pursuit is.
And
as
how
you see
big this pursuit is. You can see that. You can see a lot of pursuit cop cars.
And I can see here, we're hearing, I know Andy Sirota is getting ready to mic up and join me right now. And I don't know if Andy's been on the phone with his sources. We've been trying to work as many sources as we can.
Trying to work as many sources if they can try to figure it out.
How did this all begin? And why
how did this all begin? It all began about an hour ago, 3 hours, a couple of 3 hours, or a couple of hours ago.
This is definitely going to slow him down.
This is definitely going to slow him down. So as they approach the Hardy Toll Road,
police sources over at HPD, they said this is
a minivan,
and that officers have devices in their vehicles.
And they have devices in their vehicles. They were able to track money that's stolen from a bank.
That's exactly what happened in this case.
That's exactly what happened in this case. Their vehicles picked up on a signal, and they were able to get a vehicle description. And how this chase started about 20 minutes ago, and this chase continues on, and in in Houston area, it started about Southeast Houston about 5 or 15, 20 minutes ago or so, and this chase continues on, and the cars are lined up for the part of the funeral procession. They're just passing the funeral procession. That was getting a little bit background on their devices.
To the LoJack concept, if you're familiar with that.
Of that LoJack concept, if you're familiar with that.
Houston police officers have in their squad cars very similar to that. So when a bank robbery occurs in the city of Houston,
getting off at 610,
taking the money. If an officer is nearby, they're able to pick up on those signals.
Taking the 610 exit, not 610, taking the 45 exit from 610. Now getting on I-45 South Loop.
You know where that interchange is. He's taking the exit, right?
And he's taking the exit.
Maybe heading north now on I-45.
And it started about 10 minutes ago. This chase started about 10 minutes ago.
Like this,
and this chase is leading its way
on the road, and it's very hard to predict a fleeing suspect's behavior.
Fleeing suspect's behavior. At some points they flee excess of speed, up to a 90, 100 miles an hour.
They leave the freeways and cut through neighborhoods. So officers have to keep a safe distance. They've got to worry about the other motorists on the road.
Yeah, no question about that.
They've got to worry about the other motorists on the road. Southbound on 45, just kind of update, passing Cavalcade, going on northbound 45. What's been to this guy's benefit? This person who's driving a benefit, he's had a fairly open road.
Empty school buses pass by.
They've seen some empty school buses pass by. They have to really be cautious. And they have been following him closely for about 20 to 25 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes into the pursuit. It got underway about 20 to 30 minutes ago, and this chase continues as
No
well,
question about that. And we've had some
going at
incidents where
about
it's been
60
forced to
miles an
evolve
hour.
because
They
of
were
that.
clocking,
And
they were
that
clocking
use of the
speeds
spike
about
strips
40
in
miles an
open
hour,
road like
60
this can
miles
be
an hour.
very
Yeah, 60
effective. In
miles
this
an
case, it
hour.
hasn't slowed him down yet, but they're
It
still
hasn't
working
slowed
on
him
that and
down.
still trying different tactical ways that they can try to get this driver to slow
They can
down with the least
try to
amount
get
of
this
risk or
driver
injury
to slow
to other
down
innocent people
at
on the
least
road.
amount of risk and
Right as you came
injury.
up, they were
As
passing a
it
funeral
came
procession.
up, they were
So
passing a
just think
funeral.
about that.
They were just
We're in the
passing a.
North Main
They were just
area right now,
passing. They were just
I-45.
passing
I know
a
our
funeral.
graphic says
Just
northbound. Are we
they
confirming
were
it's
passing a
northbound? We're still northbound. We're southbound. We're southbound on
procession.
45.
They
And
were
it looks
passing a
like
funeral
the driver's beginning to
procession.
speed up there a
So
little
that
bit.
the
It's
beginning
still
to
unclear at this point
speed
if
up.
there's
The
anybody
driver
else
is
in
beginning
that
to speed
vehicle
up.
with him. Police
And
haven't
as
been able to
well,
determine that yet, but officers,
they haven't been
you
able
can
to
see keeping a very close
determine
pace
that
there
yet.
as the
And they're
suspect
keeping a very
continues to
close
flee from
pace as the
police.
Yeah, it's
suspect
interesting,
picks up
I think, when you
speed.
brought up the
As
point
well
about
as I'm
this
being
tracking
told,
devices and how
they
far we've
were
come
about
in being
tracking
able to
devices.
catch some of these bank robbers that we've been having in our area such a problem with, and it's
It's a
really to
problem,
their benefit
Ben.
that they've been able to figure this out and track this person
They've
down and
been
hopefully not
able
only
to
get them on the
figure
bank
this
robbery
out. They
involvement,
were
but
trying to
also,
get them
you know,
on the
obviously
bank
this
robbery
chase. Here we go. We
involvement.
got some strips
Now
coming
picking
out.
up some speed, try to
He
miss.
missed.
Yeah,
Now he
he's
missed the spike strips
but that officer
4 or
crossed 3
5
lanes of
times.
traffic on foot.
Yeah, and it's
Trying to get
definitely all
those out.
about timing in a situation like that.
And in
We
a
are told by a
situation
police
like
source
this,
that this bank is located on the
this
west side
bank is
of
located,
Houston.
picking
Don't
up
have a
some
specific address at this point,
picking up
but
some speed,
certainly
crossing under the
officers
freeway
in other
280,
police
crossing
districts
under the
across the city were
freeway
picking up on a lot of the
288.59.
chatter that was taking
Yeah,
place on the police
288.59.
radios today.
And this guy's made a lot
This guy's
of progress,
made a lot of
miles since
progress,
that initial west side
lot of miles.
involvement that we're hearing in a bank robbery.
Today,
Because,
earlier
again, when we
today,
started doing this
they're here
chase,
in a bank robbery because,
we're
again,
now near
when we
McKinney,
started
the aquarium
doing this
downtown. You
chase
know
about
that area well. You probably just saw
35
the
minutes,
Ferris wheel that's over in that area.
it
That
started
is a
about
tough intersection because
35,
there is a lot of
it
traffic
started
any
about
time of day. And you can see he's
35
having a little trouble.
minutes
It looks like
ago, and they're near McKinney Aquarium.
Yeah, because he looks like he's having a little bit more trouble
He's
controlling
having
that
a little bit
minivan
more
there. And, you know,
controlling
this has
that
been
vehicle.
going on quite some time because
This
this
has been
started
going
at
on.
least 20 minutes ago that we've been
This has been
following
going on
this
at
chase
least for
since
quite
they
some
got out
time.
on the
Going
open
on for at
freeway,
least
all the way from the east
past
loop. He traveled all the
30,
way around the city, around the
35
ship tunnel, and
minutes
now he's
now.
ended up back
It's
toward
been going
downtown
on for about
Houston.
45
So really
minutes
windy
now.
way to get around in
So
that
yeah,
open
this
road.
chase been going on for about 40 minutes.
And for those of you who are
And
just tuning
notice
in and joining us,
Jay's
you're
and they see
watching
the
a
driver
police chase
regaining
near
control
downtown
of that
Houston. We
vehicle,
understand it is a
and it
bank
looks like he's having
robbery
it
suspect
seems
who is
to
fleeing
me
from police. The bank located on the west side of Houston. We understand that there was a tracking device in the money that was stolen from that bank, and officers in
from
the
the
area
bank
were able
as
to pick
well.
up on that
And
signal.
I'm being
They had a
told,
vague
so
description of the suspect's car,
they had a
and
vague
thus we saw the chase start.
description.
Yeah, now we've been into
Description
the
of the
area of downtown
suspect's
Houston, and now we're
car.
going over the Pierce Elevated. This car is still going along, this minivan.
This car is
we don't know how
going-
many people
still
are
going
inside of
along.
that
This
vehicle,
minivan,
if it's a man
we
or a
don't
woman
know
driving. We haven't been able to see
if
anything
it's a
because those
man
windows
or
are
a
tinted fairly well.
woman.
But we know
Windows are
dozens of
tinted
officers have been following
fairly.
this chase on the ground and in the air.
They
We've
have
seen
been
them all over
following this
Houston's
chase
freeways, the
and
East
then
Loop,
the
and still
freeways
have
and
not
the
been able to
East
slow
Loop.
And just a couple of
They
minutes
have
ago,
not
you
been
saw
as
police
slow this
officers,
plan.
you said, cross
Just a
3
couple
lanes
of minutes ago,
traffic,
you saw
threw out some
officers
spike strips.
cross
It
3
appears
lanes
that
of traffic,
one of the
throw out some
tires
spikes,
on that
throw out
van
some
may
spike
have been
strips
popped because it
already a
looked like
couple
the
of
driver
minutes
was
ago,
sort of moving around erratically,
a few minutes
was losing a
ago.
little bit control of that minivan,
He was
but
losing a
certainly
little bit
going at a
control
very
of
high
that
rate of
minivan.
speed.
Went at a very high rate of
Again,
speed.
live from Sky 2.
Now
This is
and
now
now
45 south,
this is now
approaching
45
288.
south.
And you can see it almost looks like one of the police officers there, their unit has something hanging from that. I don't know if he actually got caught up in some spike strips there. See that trailing behind there. But they've been going behind him, trying to get these officers to slow him down.
They're trying to
Again,
get these
while
officers
trying
to
not
slow down.
injure anyone. And we're passing 288 again, so we're kind
They're
of
just
going
passing
full circle in
288
this chase
again.
that started
They
about
were
20 minutes till 1. And here
started
we are
about
at,
20 minutes
10
ago
minutes after
to
1.
1,
And this
or
guy's
no,
still
10
been
minutes
going,
after
so a long
1.
time for this chase.
This chase has been going on for the past
Officers keeping
10
a
or
good amount
20,
of distance,
10 or 20
from
minutes
that
or
vehicle,
so.
as well as the other
Since
drivers.
the
You know,
police
if you're
started this
driving
chase,
along a
they
busy
just passed
freeway and you
288.
look in your
We're
rearview
coming up
mirror and
onto
you see
288 here
police officers in
shortly.
pursuit of somebody, you know, your gut, your instinct tells you, I got to get
got
out of
your
the way.
instinct tells you, I gotta get out of the way. And then a lot of drivers, I gotta get out of the way. And then pull over, move over to allow
Absolutely,
this.
and that's a smart thing to do. I know we have seen some
That's a
cases
smart
where
thing to
civilians
lose.
have actually helped
Smart thing to do.
box
That's
the
not
suspect
lewd.
in. You definitely don't want to do that if you're in any situation you pass this.
He's not
And so
eluding
it's best
police.
we're letting the
When you
police do their
elude
job. They have
police,
people on the
the
ground
driver
and in
of
the
that
air,
vehicle,
and eventually they will find a way to slow these down. It's pretty rare we actually see people get away from these kinds of chases. So
okay,
again,
they tend to get away
our sources
these
were
kinds
telling us
of
that
chases.
this all started because of a bank robbery. Andy, you told me on the west side.
On the west side of Houston, again, a tracking device was located on the money.
Again, the tracking device was located on the money stolen from that bank.
Technology that allows them to track the signal.
That allows them to
from
track
that
the
device
signal
that's placed in the money.
from the device.
Slow down and stop.
He
for just
slowed
a second.
down and stopped for just a second. He got up in some traffic.
Squeeze around this long flatbed truck here.
Well, yeah, now it's the time
Squeezing
of day
around
where you see
flatbed
that,
truck.
early afternoon
Squeezing around
traffic,
flatbed
lunch
truck.
traffic, where people tend to leave work, go
People
back to
tend
work,
to
and,
leave
you know,
work,
certainly
go
on
back to work,
I-45 and Gulf
or leave
Freeway,
lunch.
this is what you're
Yeah,
accustomed to.
Certainly on I-45
And it appears he is boxed in right now. You can see a truck right there right next to him with carrying a load
You can see
of
that
wood,
truck
and there's really no
squeezing
way
him.
for him to get around
Nice
that
try
at this point because he's
for
in
that
the far
suspect.
left
Nice
lane
try,
of the
buddy.
area.
Welcome to Spike Strip. This is the prices that you have to commit a crime. Oh my God! I hit the door.
Police car. I don't know if he was trying to lay spikes or what he was trying to do, but
And it
Picked up speed again.
And you can really
He's
get
picking
a
up
good
some
shot
speed.
right now of that front that front tire right there. It
Even
looks
the back
it's
one's
flat.
low.
And it appears there may be somebody in the passenger.
Maybe somebody in the
Difficult to
passenger.
make out, but it appears there may be a passenger in there with the driver as well. And again, he's on open freeway at this point.
He's on
and
open
picking up
freeways at
speed.
this point.
Yeah, it looks like somebody there in a white shirt kind of sitting in that passenger seat. And we did see, I know our shot cut around a little bit, we saw someone open the driver's side door. This is the Telephone Road exit.
This is the Telephone Road exit. Driver's side. They're trying to make its way. They tried to make its way onto 288 a few minutes ago. Yeah, they're trying to make its way onto 288
And this is
just
all
about
in,
a
Southeast Houston
few
now,
minutes
Telephone Road.
ago.
A lot of neighborhoods in that area.
And a lot of neighborhoods in that
shopping
area.
centers,
A lot of
and
shopping centers, strip
good deal
centers,
amount of traffic
and a
this
good
time of day
deal amount of
on the
traffic this
roads in
time
Southeast Houston.
on
And it
day on that road.
Off of the freeway and is going into those areas you were talking about where you see
Getting
a lot of
off
shops
at the
and
freeway.
neighborhoods, and he's blowing through some traffic signs there. Out on like a 4-lane street now in that area of Telephone Road in Southeast Houston.
And now
Is he
they're on
on
Telephone
now?
Road
Can we get confirmation of
in
that?
Southeast,
We know the
in
exact
Southeast
location. We're checking
Houston.
on that, but it looks like he definitely is in that area.
He's in that area right
off
now.
I-45.
And we saw
Right off at
just
45.
about
Let's listen
5
now.
to 8 minutes ago,
And
a
it
police
started about
officer
5 or
crossed
10,
3
5 to
lanes
10
of
minutes
traffic
ago.
to throw
And we
out
saw the
some spike
driver
strips, and it
cross
appears the spike
3
strips caused a little
lanes
bit of damage to
of
the
that
tires there.
spike strip. It caused a little bit of
The
damage.
driver
Here he
of
goes.
that SUV just opened the door. He's clearly having difficulty
Let's listen now.
navigating that vehicle because of the blown front tire.
Yeah, you see a little bit of smoke now coming behind the car. Here he is opening the door. Yeah.
Driving
Not so
very
easy to
erratically
drive on
there.
rims at this point for the most part. But, I mean, he's getting really close to some other vehicles now because this is a whole different story once he got off that freeway. Now you're in these smaller streets of Southeast Houston.
Yeah, we're in a
Not in any
residential
particular
neighborhood.
lane. Yeah, not in any particular lane here, crossing over back and forth. And this is OST now, Old Spanish Trail.
Still in Southeast Houston, and you're not seeing a lot of other cars on the road right now. But certainly there's a lot of residential areas along the OST area. You just saw another police officer pass him. He's now westbound on OST here in Southeast Houston. Again, the front tire suffered quite a bit of damage after that police officer threw out those spike strips. Usually that's the best way for these officers to end these police pursuits. And again, there are certain protocols and policies that all law enforcement officers have to follow while conducting these police chases. They certainly have to worry about their safety, and they have to worry about the safety of the other officers on the road. He's now approaching MLK.
Yeah, here he goes through this area of MLK and a little bit
Looks like it's
more open. You can see all the, I know they've been redoing that area, and he's going straight through it. And you saw officers on both sides of the street there as he passed through the intersection. Definitely taking some damage to the car. You can see his side mirror there on the passenger side is hanging kind of by a thread there. We know at least one or two tires definitely having some drive. I mean, he's just smoking out on this point because he's riding on rims, but still continuing to drive along there.
And this all started because of a bank robbery on the west side early this afternoon. All right, we're told he's now approaching Calhoun, also still in a southeast Houston neighborhood right now. It's a 3-lane road right there. And you can see the smoke that's starting to come from the vehicle. Could be perhaps because of the blown tire, the rubber beginning to burn as the suspect, you know, he speeds up and slows down. It really all depends on how many vehicles are around him, but doesn't appear to be stopping anytime soon.
Now, this is westbound on OST, and he's continuing to head along there, knowing all the officers are behind him. He's trying to even pick up speed, from what I can tell. We're going to pull for a wider shot as he goes underneath this overpass here, so we can catch him on the other side. There we are. This is near Scott, so you kind of know where that area is. This is where he's going, still heading westbound, OST, near Scott, and there is nothing left on that front right tire.
No, he's riding on rims at this point. Really, the police officer who threw out those spike strips certainly put his own safety at risk there, as we saw live here on our air. He's passing Scott Street right now. Dangerous to cross 3 lanes of traffic with so many other vehicles on the road.
Yeah, no question about that, but you first and foremost got to get these people stopped, pulled over, in custody, and do that with little to no risk of anyone else on the road, innocent bystanders who are driving nearby. And when you're in a residential neighborhood like we are now, that's certainly a concern, as this driver is still going along in this gray minivan.
We're back now, so
officers in pursuit, and he's going to ride it out on the
And once officers got a vague description of this vehicle,
they got a
so they're
vague
telling us that they
description
tried
of
to
that
pull him
vehicle.
over, and that's when he decided to run. All right, we're
That's where
coming
he
up to
decided to
288
run.
now, still in
We're
southeast
coming up on
Houston here.
288 now, still in
Sky
southeast
2 doing a very good
Houston.
job of staying over this scene.
Guys doing a good and the officers
suspect,
are doing a
you
great
know,
job staying
not
over the
driving
suspect.
too erratically at this point, considering the
not
amount of
driving too
damage
erratically, a little bit.
that's been done to that right tire there.
Yeah, really. And just to keep you up to date, in case you were just joining us, it's 17 minutes after 1 right now. We started this at 12:40. This chase started around the East Loop and 288, and now we're kind of winding back around to that 288 area. And we've been following this driver in a gray minivan. Houston police have successfully managed to lower some of the tires there, at least on the passenger side, but he's still riding on rims through southeast Houston.
Driving northbound on Del Rio through what looks like a very residential neighborhood. You don't see a lot of businesses there, smaller streets, narrower streets. The officer keeping a very, very safe but close distance to the minivan as they wind through
This chase has been
the
going on
southeast
for about
Houston
45
neighborhood near
minutes
288.
now.
And we're still
They're at
going
southeast
north
Houston near
on Del Rio. You
neighborhood
can see it's looking
near
a lot
288.
more
They're still going
residential,
north
as
on
you
Del
said, a lot
Rio.
more trees as they go past some people's homes. And we have seen the driver open the door a couple times, but we're not sure if he was throwing something out or considering bailing.
Opening
we're not really
the door
sure,
a couple
but
of
either way,
times.
he kept closing it, going. And he slowed down considerably now. In this
He slowed down a little bit.
Turning off of Del Rio right now as we're watching.
This all happening in southeast Houston in a neighborhood near Highway 288. This chase has been going into all areas of the city, southeast
into
Houston,
all areas for about 45
near downtown
to
Houston.
50 minutes.
That's a great angle on that tire. There's
nothing left of it.
And there's nothing left to it.
Driving on a rim right now, and from what we could tell earlier, it
what
looked
they
like
could...
that there was somebody in the passenger seat on South Macquarie at this point. Coming up on Scott Street.
South McGregor Way
like
at
there was somebody sitting in that
the point.
passenger seat that this
sitting in that passenger seat.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know how many people are in that car. You can see those tires, I think, are down all the way on the passenger side there.
Driving.
And,
Like, you know, one time the biker gang tries to throw the bottle at that vehicle. Bam! It went right to the window. Then you think you can go ahead and pay for your taxes. Taxpayers, you're gonna pay for that pursuit and for your tax evasion. IRS and Internal Revenue Services.
And this driver has managed to elude police.
Like when someone cheering about the bank road, it's one of your friends going out to kick this, and then you kick the vehicle. Then you go ahead and kick the vehicle, and that video has been popped up here. If you want to check that out, if you wanna check it out.
Obviously, he didn't because both those tires, as you were pointing out, suffered quite a bit of damage.
It suffered quite a bit of body, not a body damage. Suffered quite a bit of damage.
Still able to keep up
Cheering.
a decent amount of speed there, not slowing down too much.
No, definitely not. And you even see people in the medians here. As you go through this kind of mixed residential commercial area, you see a lot of people walking out, kind of looking at this. This is a heavily populated area.
They're trying to cheer and record it with their cell phone videos.
That area, if you're familiar with it. And this guy's just barreling through there at this time of the afternoon. And you just
At this time of the afternoon.
There goes one of the rims.
That was the rim. That was the end of that.
Gone. And you know, officers, they have a
Those
lot to
rubbers
think
and
about
those
during these
rubbers and
collisions
the
is they
tires
wanna
and
keep
the
a certain amount
hub
of distance
and the rims
from the vehicle
are
that they're
gone.
pursuing, especially in a residential area, because they don't
Especially in
want
a
fleeing suspect,
residential
to pick up too much speed. You gotta worry
area.
about pedestrians,
Well, you don't want
have
to
worry about other
picking
motorists on the
up too
road.
much speed.
No, definitely.
And inevitably, he is southbound on Scott. We have seen people coming out, watching, cheering on. It says, like, when you heard Desmond Shaw from CBS Los Angeles, stay with your friend and one of your friends filming on social media and go out and kick the vehicle.
Their best to keep folks safe, but again, as you mentioned, this is a challenge.
Anyway, yesterday, my classmate
with little to no injury.
commented me on my YouTube channel. Nice fit, Albert.
And you can see the minivan,
From Misty, thank you.
bouncing there a
So I
little bit.
commented thank you
Because
earlier
now you're seeing sparks
today.
on
So
that rim.
you can see sparks on that rim.
He's
We
got
gotta
nothing left
concentrate
there
on that
that-
police chase video.
that
He's
front
got
right
nothing
rim.
left.
This
Front
is
right,
certainly going
front
to
right
affect his
rim,
ability
and this
to
is
continue
certainly
driving.
going to affect his
He's getting ready to bail.
ability when
No.
he's getting ready to bail.
Vehicle coming to a stop
He
right
can't
now.
drive much long.
See
As
if
this
Boyd-
90 minutes or 80 hours.
One surrendering, the other one's
One
choosing to flee.
surrendering.
On
Well,
foot
the
here,
other
as you
one
can
is
see him
choosing
crossing
to
over the
flee.
street.
See, he's dressed in a jacket. Looks like he's got
Is he
some
dressed?
jeans on.
If he's
see one
dressed
passenger give
in
a-
that
heading into a
jacket,
park area right now.
Didn't read the name of that park. Oh,
Looks like he's
surrendering. He's got his hands up.
So again, this is the end of a chase that started about 12:40 this afternoon. You can see officers
started about
down
12:40
to the
this
ground
afternoon.
as they get him.
And the suspect not putting up much of a fight here.
This suspect is not putting up much of a fight here after a 40-minute chase or 50-minute chase.
We got about
And-
half dozen
They
police officers.
have
there.
at
So
least
right
half
now,
dozen at least
the
police
suspect
officers.
has been subdued.
They're in the scene. They
You
have
watched just
subdued.
moments ago.
You
He
just
bailed out of the minivan,
you
ran
watched moments
for a
ago.
short distance,
Minivan
and then
ran for
put
a
his
short
hands up
distance.
as if to surrender,
Then it
and
started
dropped
in
to
the
his
east
knees,
loop
and then dropped
of
to the ground.
288.
And that's when officers were able to
Then he
actually
hits back
cuff him and take him
280,
into
trying to
custody.
get back on the 288 after they just put out
Yellowstone.
the
This is
spike
it
strip.
looks like a park area over there.
This
You
is
can
the
just
OST
imagine
in
the layer of
Yellowstone,
blue
a park
officers that
area.
stopped this guy
So-
in his tracks, and he decided, hey,
So
it's
they
not
can
worth
stop
it.
that guy in
Just
his
get
tracks.
And just to
Hey, it's
recap
not
how this
worth
all
it.
started on the
This all
west side of
started
Houston,
on the
the
west
bank robbery
in the
took place
west
this
side,
afternoon.
in the west
There was some
side
sort
of
of a tracking
Houston.
device on the money that was
So-
taken from that
and it
bank.
started
And police officers
in the
in the area were
east
able to pick
loop
up a
of
signal from
288.
that stolen money. They had a
It
vague
started in the
description
east loop of
the
288.
vehicle that the suspect was in. They initiated a traffic stop,
They
and that, we
initiated
are
a
told, by
traffic
police
stop.
sources is when the driver
That
decided
is
to flee.
a.
And as you saw, that driver was not alone. There was somebody in the passenger seat.
Outside that they got custody of
This
as
is
well,
a.
and we now know the name of the
I
bank
think
where
it's
this
a
all started. This was
2000
the Trustmark
Chevy,
Bank on the Katy Freeway.
2000
So that's where we're
Chevy
told that this bank
Venture.
robbery initially happened,
And
and then along the way there was this attempt to try to pull this suspect car over thanks to that tracking device that was on the money taken from that bank.
7K
From all the way from the
24184.
Katy Freeway through
So
leaving Houston,
they were
downtown
leaving
Houston, went over the ship
downtown,
channel. I mean, this has
went
been
over
some
the
mileage put on this
ship
van until
channel,
after 3 or 4 attempts at least with spike strips, officers managed to slow him down
and
to
they
the point
just
where
did
this
spike
car
strips.
was completely undrivable. The
It
suspects
was
had no other
completely
choice but to bail
undrivable,
out
and now
and
it was
surrender.
Right, that
drivable.
officer who threw out those spike strips
Earlier
certainly
on,
put his own safety at risk there, as we saw here
so they
on live television,
certainly
crossing
put his
3 lanes
wrist.
of traffic. And at first it wasn't
Live
even clear
television,
if the
you
spike
can
strips
see
damaged the tires, but
it
as we saw
damaged
that
was
minivan
the
continue
damage
on, we
the
noticed
tires.
that first the right front tire started to get
The right
flat,
front tire,
then the right rear tire started to get flat, then we saw burning
right
rubber,
rear
and then
tires
eventually we
started
saw
to get
those sparks
flat.
there.
They saw burning rubber, sparks flying. So they've been following this chase for about 55 to 60 minutes later. For about 65 to 70 minutes. 65 to 70 minutes later, it ended. 65 to 70 minutes later, it ended. And 75 minutes later, or maybe about 45 minutes later, it ended near the school. So that's all for now. Let's listen.
Local 2's Courtney Zavala has been following this story and joins us now live from where the chase ended. You know, it was absolutely dramatic. If you were watching this chase live right here on Local 2, you watched that minivan go all over the city. Kind of give you a vantage point where we are right now. This is Scott Street. Behind me would be 288. In front of me is 610. That minivan actually was headed towards 610 with 2 tires that were completely blown out, and that's the area where that driver finally stopped and was apprehended by HPD. This guy was the driver, and this guy, the passenger. Together, police say they had a pretty busy day. Sky 2 was over the scene as the chase started. The 2 guys in the silver minivan were on a mission to not give up.
Led the marked units on the chase through the loop, back in through downtown.
It started on the northwest side. Police were on the pursuit because this vehicle matched a description of a getaway car from a bank robbery that happened at 12:30 at the Trustmark Bank on the Katy Freeway.
They knew it was an older model minivan with the stick figure symbols of a person and a bunch of children and a paper plate, and the unit just happened to be right in front of it when they broadcast that.
A marked HPD unit tried to pull the driver over, and the chase began. For more than an hour, the driver led about 10 units across the city. He swerved around cars and traffic, drove on the highway, feeder roads, and even through neighborhoods.
He was doing on average 65, and at one point, you know, at the most he sped up was maybe 75.
The driver avoided spike strips a few times, and it was obvious he wasn't stopping.
I authorized the primary secondary due to the fact that there were possible weapons involved. I authorized up to 6 additional units and the K-9 units.
Eventually, 2 tires gave way, but he kept driving. Not for long. The passenger bailed. The driver tried to run, but he didn't get very far. He ran, put his hands up, and then drops to his knees. Both men were taken into custody and soon will be face-to-face with the FBI.
I did notice some currency inside the vehicle. At this point, we're not going to touch the vehicle until we get the crime scene detectives out here.
Now, coming from information from that Trustmark Bank robbery earlier this afternoon, witnesses say that a gun was used during that robbery, a threatening manner. So HPD really was on the defensive here because they've realized that at least maybe one of these guys had a weapon. It's unclear if a weapon was found on these 2 guys once they were taken into custody. Again, that van will be analyzed by HPD robbery, and those guys will be interviewed by them and FBI, probably doing so right now. We're live. Courtney Zavala, KPRC, Local 2.
So, before we wrap this up, I'm gonna keep writing.
Mrs. Claus. Baby. Hawaii? Hawaii.
The bar.
The bar.
Where you have 20 to 30 years old.
JL, name a place you'd be surprised to hear Santa met Mrs. Claus.
Up for a strip club, Steve.
At the strip club.
This is my house.
Got one answer left, Miss Nancy. If it's there, your family wins the game. But if it's not there, you're still alive, no strikes. Give me a place you'd be surprised to hear Santa met Miss Claus.
At the whorehouse.
So, this chase started at the East Loop at 288 a few minutes ago, and they avoided spike strips a few times. Both of the two rubbery suspects were face to face with FBI and IRS. And this gray minivan led police on a 40-minute chase, and they are in custody. 45 minutes later, the spike strips was deployed. So anyway, thanks for watching. Check out this video popped up here on the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video later on tonight. Bye, tonight. Later on tonight. Bye, guys.
Name a place you'd be surprised.